Alright, first video, Drake for all the dogs. As you can see on the screen, it's a whole bunch of goddamn dogs. I went through his album last night and I thought I'd make a video talking about my opinions on it. So let's get right into it. Yeah, this project starts off with a decent track, to be honest, and after that first track, Drake is fairly consistent at damaging my ears. Majority of these songs I have the same critiques for because all of these songs provide the same material. There's almost no variety in the topics that he chooses to sing or rap about, and the melodic presence in his singing is non-existent, which is definitely one of the biggest drawbacks to this album. I also think that 23 tracks is too long in my opinion for an album of this caliber. Beat selection is not bad for majority of the songs. They have beats that I can get on board with, but I think ultimately Drake is not able to make use of the beats in a way where the listener is captivated throughout the whole entire track. So many poor verses, so many poor bars. It was really hard for me to get through this album without cringing every other track, to be completely honest. We do have some shining moments in this album with tracks like Fear of Heights, Daylight, First Person Shooter, where we get the vintage Drake experience over a beat that goes fairly hard. J. Cole's verse on First Person Shooter is easily one of the best verses of the whole album, and that's disappointing considering that we went through 22 other tracks with Drake and there's no memorable performance that I can remember off the top of my head. We had features from Party Next Door, 21 Savage, Tizo, where most of these features, aside from 21, didn't bring much to the table. Drake also himself didn't bring much to the table either, so I can't fault them too much for doing what they could with what they were given. Chief Keef is also on this album, featured on a song, and he is actually singing on the chorus of the song. He's not rapping, he doesn't have a verse, and nothing has confused me more in all the times that I've been listening to music than this song right here. And it instantly became a skip in my books just because of this. We also have features from SZA, which she does her thing as always with the voice of an angel, but we also have features from people like Bad Bunny, Sexyy Red, Lil Yachty, which were all disgustingly bad in my opinion. The only one that I won't give too much slack to is the Bad Bunny one, just because I just don't listen to that kind of music, so I can't really give my input on it too much. It's just not for me. But the Sexyy Red track was for sure disgustingly bad. SZA does her thing on this track, but this track is ultimately 5 minutes and 20 seconds long, and Sexyy Red almost brings nothing to this song besides a boring bridge, I think that it was. And besides that, it's basically nothing. And to follow up with this bad track, we have Another Late Night with Lil Yachty, where the beat is boring, Drake's verse is dead, Lil Yachty's verse is just as monotone as a verse can get, and overall this track just doesn't keep me interested at all. Overall, I think this might be a contender for one of Drake's worst albums of all time, behind Honestly Nevermind. It's a very poor projection of his work considering all the resources that he has available at his fingertips and the power that he has in this industry. There's little to no memorable melodies. The singing was subpar. His verses seem to be recycled over and over on the same topics. This album was genuinely hard to listen to for me, and I can't say that about many albums from Drake. Not sure who the audience was that this was intended for, and also not sure how this resembles anything like his older work. Very disappointing considering all the hype behind this project and that it would be something that would resemble his older work. I was never a big fan of Drake's singing, to be honest, but in his older albums, you can tell that he went above and beyond to make sure that he gave a good performance, and that's just something that I can't say for this album. The verses come off lazy, the melodies are just not there, the mixing on some of these tracks, like All the Parties, for example, is just pitched way too high, and it's not even just that one track where I thought the mixing on his voice was off. Final verdict on this album, though, man, I think it's overall a 3 out of 10. I think I liked about maybe like 3 or 4 songs in total out of the 23. But overall, man, I think this album was an underwhelming listen for sure. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and catch you in the next one.